We have this great steel yard fairly close to our place where they will let you go out into the boneyard, so to speak, and sort through cutouts of sheets of steel where they've produced various parts of various shapes. And these cutouts are really great looking if you get the right combination of shapes. And so we went the other day to look for one about 3 feet by 4 feet in order to make a screen for the yard. And here's the piece we bought. Again, it was about 3 feet tall, 4 feet wide, and 1/4 of an inch thick, so it was pretty heavy. And we built a frame that looked something like this and built a screen. The methodology was pretty straightforward, just 2 4x4s with grooves routed in them to accept the steel, and then a piece of 2x4 top and bottom to complete the frame look. Sunk the posts into the ground 2.5 feet because the thing was pretty heavy and I wanted it to be stable. And for routing that groove, I just created a jig. I'll show you in a minute how I did that, and I just cut the groove about 3/4 of an inch deep in each of the 4x4 posts. Here's the piece of steel in the back of my truck, just kind of getting ready to do the 4x4s. I looked for a router bit in my collection to match the width of the steel, which again was 1/4 of an inch, and I had the perfect bit for that. And so I made myself a kind of a hokey jig to ride on my plunge router in order to hold the routed groove in the center of the 4x4. And this worked pretty good, just 2 scraps of wood. I used some double-sided tape to get them firmly positioned, and then added some little C-clamps to keep them tight. And it really worked great. I just guided this along the length of the 4x4 for the 3 feet of the height of the piece of steel. You can see here is the router after it's cut the slot. Here's the slot in one of the 4x4s. Again, it was about 5/8, maybe 3/4 of an inch deep and 3 feet long in the 4x4. Once I had mounted the steel in those slots, I screwed the piece of 2x4 pressure treated to the top and the bottom. I didn't want a groove in the bottom because I didn't want water settling in the groove and speeding the rotting of the wood, so it's really only held by the slots on the side and then just gravity against the bottom piece. But you can see the look. And the thickness of the cutouts made this piece of steel look great. I dug the holes with a post hole digger super deep, like 2.5 feet deep, because this thing was pretty heavy. Staked it into the ground to hold it perfectly level, and then used 3/4 minus to pack around the holes where I had mounted it. I would pour the rock in and then pound down on it with a stick and a sledgehammer to compact it as hard as I could. And honestly, it turned into a very stable setup just using the rock. I think the depth of the holes definitely helped. So here's the screen installed in the yard. It looks like a million. I may still do some kind of a decorative post cap, but for right now, this is the finished product. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.